It was very mean.
Well, I could actually totally see that. I
mean.
could totally see that.
Jesse just looks like a high school student. So, I mean, at least he has experience.
He would know.
Either way, final match of the day, Space Station. Will they go to all 15 rounds? So far, they are 45 of 45 rounds up to this point.
Jesus.
And there you go. You were talking about the webcams, by the way. Look at all the streamer cams on the right side of your screen. And then there's Laxing.
Yep.
In beautiful 4K.
Yep. It looks so different. It really does.
It does. It sure does. Space Station had some struggles earlier today against Mr. Beast Coast himself, Mr. B. Losing on bank in that 15th round. Can they redeem themselves?
It's going to be a different... Ooh. Smoke ban.
Fish thought that was very funny.
So we're like, we don't even play smoke, guys. Haha. Joke's on you. Everybody plays smoke on this map. They said we got him.
Spiker says, all right.
All right, they got him. Whatever.
You know, I'm not an interior decor kind of guy, but I feel like Spiker, you could very easily put like either a mirror or like a nice piece of art over your dresser.
Oh,
the dog is back!
Dog! Has moved the muzzle.
Undertale dog. It actually has moved.
I mean, yes, I guess a tiny bit.
I'm assuming that's... See? Look at this.
Streamer cam.
Look at this clarity. Perfect sharpness. Great balance.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
You know, cool.
Very big credit there. His camera set up.
Who am I?
I am actually curious what your plays would look like if you were to fully decorate yourself. I would be very curious to see. Because I can't tell if it would be like a pure man cave or like greenery plants.
I am like I'm a minimalist kind of guy.
You're a minimalist kind of guy.
I mean, you can see most of my room from the shot of my camera.
Yeah, but you live with your mom during that, so you don't get full control.
I live with both of my parents.
Oh, everyone? Oh, I thought it was your mom.
I have more than one.
Congratulations.
My father exists. He just keeps a very low profile.
I was gonna say, I don't know much.
He does not Twitter.
Oh,
and from time to time he'll say, you know, if I had Twitter, and it's like, nope.
No, you don't. So don't say things.
So you don't say things.
Well, either way, I'm still excited to see what you do with the place.
Thanks, Nicholas. I can't wait to come over to your house and make you a delicious meal.
That's where we already messed up because it's an apartment, not a house. But thank you. You're very welcome to.
It's not a house, it's a home.
It is a home, and it is an apartment, and it is mine.
Loading new mag.
First shot on the way.
It was annoying. It was an annoying topic of conversation.
Was it? Come on.
It's not a house, it's a home.
Either way.
Segue in.
Segue in. First round underway. J90 going for that window opening. It's been 45 seconds and no combat has happened as of yet, but it will surely happen soon. The renegade stopping him dead in his tracks. Has to make a decision, either drone or summon child sacrifice. Forest under the wall, a jammer will greet him. He cannot open it up unless there it is, a grenade from below hits its mark, denies the jammer. Oh, actually, it did not deny the jammer.
There's one single X-Kairos. Okay.
Fair enough.
But I mean, hey, you can throw a nade through there.
You could certainly do that.
Yeah.
But there's no nades left.
That's
so problematic.
Already a rough start for Space Station. Parabellum enter today in 7th of 8th place. They did not have a successful match against Sonics. Earlier today, it was a 3-7 loss for this PB squad. Both these teams looking for their very first victory of the day. One was a loss in overtime, that was Space Station. The other, a loss in regulation. But PB is an entirely new team, with both Fish and Spiker making their Pro League debut. Technically, is it not Spiff's Pro League debut as well? Oh my goodness, hold on a second here. Space Station decided to hit the gas as quickly as they could. Skies and Laxing, the two most veteran and experienced players on this squad. Heading back to the bomb site. There's Laxing in a single pick, repositioning Skies towards White Stairs. Nice pick. They've suddenly put this into a 2v2. There's no way they win this, right? Flashbang goes out. Skies chased off his position. Forced and Hot and Cold to contain these last two players. In very different positions. Hot and in dorms. Forced by a big window. Skies' attempt to get back to the bomb site does not go over very well. That leaves Laxing in a 1v2. Forest repositions, gets the pick. SSG goes for broke. And they don't, in fact, go broke. They actually make quite a large amount of money off that one. Quite profit on that round. I hope you like talking. I don't think you've spoken for like a minute and a half.
Well, I thought I was saying, yes, you are correct. It would be Spiff's probably debut, technically speaking, because he started off at the Invitationals with Astralis. So
Same with Citizen. It was Citizen's NA debut.
That is true.
Yesterday.
Yeah, but he did play European Pro League for like, what, 3 and some years?
I said NA debut.
Yeah, but like that doesn't matter, does it? Doesn't I mean, if you play European Pro League for like 3.5 years and you go to NA, I feel like that's like a potato.
Just like the UK, North America is not a part of Europe anymore. So
I'm struggling to find the correlation.
just making fun of the Brits.
Okay, that's fair. Also, we have demo now to make fun of, so it's like that happens quite frequently as well, I would say.
I have more Scottish family than Canadian family. So I feel like that in some way, shape, or form allows me to make fun of
Valid and
other
true.
parts of the United Kingdom because I get to sit around and hear my Scottish family. I don't know.
Okay.
Excellent play by Space Station. They assessed that there were 3 separate players of Parabellum that were off-site, so they decided, why not? Let's just go for it. Rush on in. It already opened up the back of Attic. You can take White stairs. There's nobody there. Skies was downstairs in Laundry, I believe.
Way off.
Way off-site.
I'd say comparing SSG to Parabellum is 2 very different teams. I would say Parabellum on defense, they play a very methodical, kind of ABC, very solid setup style of seats. It's rather predictable. Whereas Space Station on their attacks, they will just look for openings and just completely go for it. You saw it. There's people roaming. Okay, hit the side super quick. And it was a rough start for them, just like this one as well. Because again, they lose that opening engagement. But SSG, we all know, they can just find themselves in the midst of the bomb site out of seemingly nothing. Out of nowhere. Forrest being one of the main people just kind of walking into places that he has no business being in and finding those gaps.
J9O had an excellent game earlier despite it being a loss for Space Station. So not having the bounce back, or not having the continued success, so rely on a bounce back. Mark had a really rough game earlier. They need more out of him if they want sustained long-term success. And Merc is one of the hardest jobs, which is being a successful and consistent entry.
Yeah.
If you can find somebody who is routinely trading themselves out, getting a single kill on every entry point, you never will want to ever let go of them. Merc has had definite periods of time where he can do that, but he's still adapting to a new team.
Yeah.
That's it.
Early days. No execution operators for the attack inside of Space Station. They gotta just kind of brute force into the gap of flashbacks and nades and gunfights.
Oh, Fish, swing and a miss onto Forrest. He had an idea of how to take that engagement. Now Forrest looking for another. Wait a minute. Space Station is doing it yet again. They're looking to break this inexperienced team, but if you're going to talk about experience, you have to mention Skies walking in and getting two. Hot and Cold downed as well as Spiker is there to do some serious damage. And Forrest! Oh my goodness, gets 2 huge picks. And Space Station goes up 2-0.
How did they win the round? I mean, what a mess. It looked like Skies brought it back. The injury was there as well, but no. Forrest is biding his time outside of Double Dot Blue, waiting for the right moment to strike with 25 HP to his name, finds the 1 versus 3 essentially to secure the 2nd round for them. Oh, Forrest. He just tends again to find himself in these positions where he shouldn't really be finding that much value or that much success in, but he just does time and time again. Parabellum scrambled to find a bomb that works. Going through the motions, starting upstairs, then going downstairs, now going tertiary bomb side. It's a desperate moment for them. Attacker repicks happening for the attack inside. A finger being showcased right now from Forrest. Boost people up, stay healthy. That chip damage meta that we used to have about 6 to 12 months ago for a period of time is pretty much gone. Nowadays, if you're an attacking member, either you just die or stay alive. It's not that common to have like half HP these days. The meta always changing in Rainbow Six Siege, ever so slightly. Of course, one thing that's always stable is information. No matter what meta game we've been, it's always been something that you always want on both sides. Of course, attackers always have those deployable drones, but defenders gotta choose between the utilities that they got. Deployable cameras, Valkyrie, Solace, etc. And PP very low on information. Got a single deployable camera, that's it.
A bomb has been located.
Ooh, okay, hold on. 30 seconds, and they decided that the first 2 rounds just somehow were not fast enough, because now it's Spiker to stare down yet another member of SSG at the breach all the way back. That's J90 looking for kill number 1. That's J90 to almost get it. He's got the down on the Spiker, but you're going to have to finish the rest of the job. Fultz is in the middle of the site, by the way. A very simple thing when there's 45 seconds off of the clock.
Yeah.
That's a pretty slow pace for him to get in there, you know, just pretty normal. Fish. Good lord, taking down Merc. Spiff whiffing, gets taken out by backstage. There's only 2 players from Parabellum still upright. Skies and Fish. Spiker continuing to bleed out. Fish, a long run down the corridor in kitchen. Manages to out-duel J90, who did not get credited with the kill on the Spiker as he's still bleeding out. Skies looks nice, kill on the Fultz, runs out of there. Didn't know that Hot and Cold was getting the diffuser down not too far away, and it's Fish a 3K.
Defenders have eyes on the
All right, these rounds are messy.
Yeah.
These rounds are very messy, but they're exciting nonetheless.
Defenders have disabled the bomb diffuser.
All right, well, now it's your job to break that down. Go ahead.
All right, let's break it down. So somehow, some way, Forest and SSG they're on the bomb site in 20 seconds, and then somehow, some way, Parabellum, they retake successfully. Of course, Fish winning those individual gunfights was the biggest story for Parabellum. Just swinging aggressively inside that green hallway, find that initial kill into the second, really swinging things back for Parabellum. But it is a one-man story. There's not like team coordination from PB swinging together, taking 2v1s. That was just all Fish. Not a consistent way to win rounds, but for this time, it did work. And is that a tactical timeout? Yes, it is. It is a tactical timeout.
But who took it?
But let's assume it was PB.
Parabellum?
It was Parabellum, yeah. So I say, despite them win the round again, because of how they wanted, how that round went, I do think that they do gotta talk things through, right? Things are not working the way they're supposed to, the way they want them to, and all these gaps that they have in their defense is very quickly being found out by Space Station. They gotta find those gaps now as a defending team, close them or change them around, and stop SSG from getting through.
You're telling me that a mirror or a picture wouldn't look good there? Tell me.
It would. I'm not.
You're telling me that a picture or a mirror wouldn't look really good.
I'm not disagreeing.
Spiker, if you rewatch this broadcast with the audio on, which as a player I would never do.
Okay. Yeah.
If you rewatch this broadcast with the audio, well, then just the players don't have anything to gain from listening to us.
Damn.
They don't. I mean, they know what it is. They're going to hear your analysis. Whether it's accurate or not doesn't matter. Okay. But they're like, we know what we're doing. Why do we need to hear what Pengu has to say about it?
True.
They need to hear me
And
talking.
real.
They're like, I can see things with my mind.
I can see things. Okay.
Spiker, listen to me. If you rewatch this with the sound on, I beg you, maybe put something up on the wall for the
5
next
seconds
match.
left.
Maybe about a week.
Yeah, he does have a week.
He has a week.
So, you
What did
know,
you talk about in that time?
again, I'll talk about the gaps, right? Like, where are they getting in?
SSG?
If I'm SSG, honestly, keep up the pace, right? Keep applying that pressure onto Parabellum. It's clearly working. Sure, they didn't win that previous round, but they got in, they got the job done, they got the bomb down.
That's what I'd say. I'd say lots of energy, lots of focus.
That's a great thing to say as well. Lots of energy, lots of focus, do it again, but better, right?
Drone's ready.
I think SSG are a very good team on attack to kind of set the tone, the pace of the match to come. Now PB, they got to either match it or shut it down.
Oh,
Well,
Spiff runs right into the waiting arms of Merc. That's Merc's very first kill. Seconds ago, neither of these players had a single kill between them. Now Merc has one. He's cleared out one of the roamers on that main floor. It's a downstairs hold by Parabellum. Merc will continue to walk. He'd been droned a little bit earlier. He's got the sledge near him. And now he'll go down the back stairs.
I think it was the only roamer, actually. Spiff being that single member. It makes sense on Jaeger again. You have that passive gadgetry being put down. And despite Spiff dying on the Jaeger, the ADSs will still work.
That's another kill on Disguise. Hot and Cold. The supports again for Space Station. Forest, Hot and Cold, J90. These are players who are not your main points of entry. You've got Fultz and Merc to accomplish that. Fish now at the top of Freezer Stairs doing some damage, but getting away with his life still intact. Finding safe comfort in the bomb site down below. Last time that Space Station attacked this, just 2 rounds ago, that bunker, the blue portion of the map, especially critical.
Yeah.
Nade from Merc, that's a second kill, lands into the lap of Fish. Down he goes. Spiker and Laxing are there. Laxing gunning through Merc. What remains is now gone.
God.
Oh, and the Lappa Spiker. Perfectly cooked. Laxing takes matters into his own hands, and he trades out J9O, but SSG still win the round. They are looking to put this one away quickly. Hey, the SSG match just 2 ago against Beast Coast. Also very quick. So
I was going to say, I mean, the thing is, against Beast Coast, things were rather close most of the rounds, but this looks like SSG is just like 2 steps above Parabellum. I mean, this is textbook Siege for them. Quick entry, shut down the roam, take full map control, open up the hatches, deny the flank on laundry stairs, and then like both grenades that were tossed out, both result in a kill. If they hadn't, well, that member has to run into a crossfire and would likely die into a shot instead. So just guaranteeing the kills, keeping that advantage. The only thing that didn't go SSG's way was Merc got a little bit too excited again. Pushed forward alone, way ahead of his teammates, and he died, but then the follow-up was there in that 4 versus 2, and practically a flawless round for Space Station.
I mean, but at that time, Merc gets 2 kills. If Merc gets 2 kills,
you might as well.
If Merc gets 2 kills and then dies on a solo entry, which he was being droned in for most of,
yes,
then hey, I consider that a massive win. If your entry is getting 2 kills and then dying through 4 of those 6 rounds, that's enormous. That is not your entry's fault if you end up losing that round.
Not at all.
Merc gets droned in, walks in, gets a pick, gets the next pick. You've now bought your team so much breathing room, cannot point fingers at Merc at all.
No. I'm just saying the only thing that didn't go perfectly was the fact that Merc died. He could have stayed alive, you know?
Sounded like you were being a hater.
I'm not being a hater. I'm actually an investor in the Merc stocks because I appreciate how he does the entry job.
Call yourself a Merc enthusiast.
That I am.
Would you call yourself a Merc enthusiast?
I would half the time. The other half, my eyes, they hurt, right? When he gets too aggressive and too excited and he throws the advantage, it hurts. When he builds it, when he successfully gets in the map, I love it.
There's logic bombs to ring out. Laxing with the castle barricade. Ooh, this is not a conventional setup that we see.
No, it's an L and not a mute playing here or a shotgun.
Reload!
All right.
Different approach of PB. Different strats than last time they played Oregon as well. This one is a bit more aggressive, a bit more front heavy.
Force looking for the jump in now at Armory Stairs. 1 minute off the clock. Space Station have been dominating these rounds by being so quick to get into the bomb site. They are not too far off this time, but being slowed down a bit by Azamis, by Aruni, by Castle, Ella.
So much utility.
Look at Laxing in this corner. They're about to drone him out. It sure looks like it's Spiff exchanging most of his HP for Merc. Merc unsuccessful in the entry. Laxing is able to get out of his position inside of Closet. And after Laxing has emerged from said closet, an Azami barrier, or one of the Kiva barriers, will go. There's flashbangs as well to potentially clear them out. Forrest just blinding himself, and yet another will go there. He doesn't want to bother engaging with it at melee range. He
goes in?
No way, he's a maniac. Forrest is a maniac. Turn around, Forrest! You're a maniac! Of that ensuing gunfight, Parabellum comes out ahead in a 4v2. Fish suffering some blows now. It looked like Laxing taking some damage. Hot and cold, does not see skies on the roam. Down goes Laxing. Playing prone inside of the closet. Fultz only on a single point of HP. Through trophy. They'll disable the Aruni gate. And then line up and drop the remainder of Fish. But they know that he's boxed in to trophy. All they need to do is watch a single doorway. Spiker doesn't have a line of sight. He's actually cut off because of these Kiva barriers. If Fultz knows this, he can advance fairly quickly. Walking over towards White, they know he's inside of the bomb site, being spam pinged by the camera. And there it goes. He's waiting for the Azami, and he loses it to Skies. That's a position that a lot of players in North America have been in time and time again. Parabellum at least gets a second round. They're hoping for a tie in this first half.
I have to say, typically when you watch Oregon, you can predict almost everything that is likely going to be happening, but for this one, I don't think anything is.
I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I have no clue. Like, what happens next? Oh, Forrest's gonna, take down the Q barrier, throw a flashbang, maybe cut the rotate, get back on the roof. No, he rappels in Gen window, amidst the bomb site against like a triple crossfire, and just dies. Wouldn't expect it to happen.
He's actually not. He's not a sane person.
No, you've been saying that. He's not.
I love Forrest to death. But he's not a sane person.
He's a great player to watch and a funny one at that, and obviously also plays a vital role both on Astralis' roster and now on SSG's. He also plays the flex role for them, and right now, they aka SpaceStation, depend on him to do things. Playing Ging on the basement attack is a great way to get things started. That's the option that he's currently going to be hovering instead of the Heart Breach.
I have breaking news, by the way.
Oh, breaking news.
10 seconds left before insertion.
The official title is that he is the CEO and co-founder of Parabellum Esports.
Okay.
Tweeting at me saying, I will try and find something to send him.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
There you go.
Mission accomplished, possibly.
We'll try and find something.
Now imagine it's a big picture of your face.
I don't want it to be of me.
You didn't specify what it should or shouldn't be.
Please don't send any pictures of me. I don't want that. Look at the value you're going to get on this Rotero drone.
Stonks.
Goyo Canister, Banshee, as well as the barricade itself. There's no deployable shield inside of Elbow. And J90 driving the drone in. No! Laxing backing away. It blows up. Laxing could have taken some damage there if it had driven in just a little bit more. Maybe could have gotten out of it. This is the same entry path that Merc had before.
Yeah.
Towards back tower.
One of the greatest ways to establish consistency as an injured player is to have a pattern, a route that you go through both for your own sake, but also the same guy using the same drone path as well to figure out what areas are clear. And it's why SpaceStation can clear the map in about 50 seconds time from the round starting because they got things planned out. They follow through those ABCs and Parabellum not going for their own, playing for more passive bomb site setup with the mirror windows, the Goyo canisters, etc. And the one way the attackers can kind of take advantage of that is to go through the map quickly. That buys them time for the bomb set execute itself to clear out those pieces of utility to then get a successful round victory.
Totally correct. This might be one of the slower rounds from SpaceStation now, the very final round of this first half. It's another assault on Laundry Supply down below.
Oh, good night.
Oh, that's a GN in chat, please. The creator and founder, popularizer of the GN Merc is down due to that battle with Skies. Again, Merc had that great round where he got 2 picks on entry, but that's literally it. Since then, Merc has gone, what, 0-5? That's not what you want. Candela goes out. Forrest taking everything into his own hands, gets flashed, but there's more Candelas to come. These won't blind him as they get tossed farther down. SpaceStation have leveled the numbers into a 3v3. ADS resetting. Forrest losing a Candela. He's still got a smoke in back pocket as well. Try and isolate that hallway over by Freezer. He's got that soft wall that he can spray through with a huge magazine. J90 sees him pushing towards the corridor. Sky's turning around, looking for kill number 9. Cannot get it. Forrest down to Laxing. Now it's Sky's turn to push towards Pillar. J90 in on the action. Everybody active for this team right now. J90 on a sliver of HP, hot and cold, very low. They flush Skies out of that position. It's all Laxing to clutch. A dead even 5v5, low mag, and he can't hit his shot on a J90. A single bullet would have taken him out, but he can't even get that. SpaceStation emerged from the first half up 4-2.
And again, that round follows the same pattern of what is actually going on in these rounds. Complete and utter chaos. But SpaceStation, they seem to thrive in those moments. And this Force, again, leading the charge, starting that execute, and finding 2 kills to get his team into that blue area.
It's not a tactical timeout. This is just waiting for the side swap.
Unless...
Locate and
no,
defuse
it's
bomb.
not. It's not at all. All right, in terms of that first half, the Dorm's bomb site showed up twice. Laundry supply room down below showed up 3 times. Meeting and kitchen showed up once. SSG did not use their timeout. Parabellum did. That's where we're looking at in terms of the stakes at the moment. So if things don't go very well for PB, they have no recourse. They've already used their timeout. No ripcord, as we call it from time to time.
She's basically hiding Forest on the Kaid. They don't want to give away the fact they can deny these hatches, but PP, they are one step ahead because they're attack or repeating onto the Thatcher, as well as the Brava, to be honest. Both can deny those electro claws on the hatches. But this speaks to SSG playing for more, again, bomb site-oriented setup. The Warden, the deployable shields, the kite claws on hatches. Would not expect much room game, if any at all. Hot and cold. Barely gets out alive.
And here's the sound of the para, which usually would denote a Capitao, but now the addition of Capitao's cousin, nephew, niece. Are they cousins, niece? I don't really know the lore of this game.
I think they're cousins, but yeah. They're related. One way or another. Do you know
Somebody will correct.
Do you know Brava's other weapon, by any chance? A little bit of a quiz here. Hotspot. Hot seat.
It's a shotgun.
Is it DMR?
It's the DMR?
It's a DMR.
It's the cameras.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
You are correct. I too thought it was a shotgun at first, until I also learned it was indeed the cameras.
Yeah, because the other one was the ITA got given to Solus, right?
Yes. Yes.
So one of the ways that we've seen Brava employed is while she is a trickster operator, she's excellent for removing the little bits that the defenders stack up to alert you that somebody is coming in. For example, any proximity alarms they will take care of. Oh no, so close Spiker got to getting that ADS. Take out the default cams. Yeah. Possibly take out Capcan traps. Those are funny, but not always how we see them get used. But if you can take out a flank default cam, defenders aren't necessarily going to think about that. You're going to get a lot of value from having control of that camera.
Yeah.
And you get 3 opportunities for that drone. First drone, that's not bad.
And you get 2 drones, so very good value indeed.
Spiker just threw out the second drone now. As Fultz is guarding this freezer stairs, saw a drone scoot by. And Spiker has now lost both of these drones. Fultz is getting very active, very aggressive. I don't know if he knows that he's lost that ADS as well on the stairs, but if he tries to toss a nitro cell, the ADS will work against him.
Right. That is like one of the facepalm moments, I think. Not a tee-hee moment, but yeah.
Well, for us, it's tee.
For us, it's tee-hee, that's right.
This has been a slow round for Parabellum. Very different from what we saw out of Space Station. Fist chops right in and just absolutely murders Forrest and Fultz. J9O, the first person from SSG on the board. Merc will follow not too far behind. Plant going down. Sky's only on a single point of HP. A single bullet from Hot and Cold will finish him off, and he knew what he needed to get done. Stop the plant in its tracks, can't do it. There's at least 2 sets of eyes watching as that diffuser goes down. Parabellum successful on their very first attack. They've closed the gap between these 2 teams to a single round.
A great look for PP. A very quick follow-up from that entry from Spiff with a double kill, and that's kind of what PP needs. When someone makes a play, everyone has to be there to follow up to make sure that the round continues on forward in the right direction. It's something that we saw PP struggle with in their opening games yesterday, where somebody would make a play somewhere, and then there's just like 5 seconds of nothing, essentially. If that single member they get shut down on the bomb side, well, that's basically a round, or at the very least, it's an opportunity that is lost in that moment. And a basement victory in terms of attack is a huge success. It's like the one bomb set defender should win like 75% of the time or so. So a great start for PP. SSG still 1 round in the lead, 4-3. Can kind of go through the motions here, but do just that as changing the bomb sides is their way forward too. Gonna go upstairs on Kit's bomb side instead. Keep things relatively the same, still play around that utility, the mirror windows, the magnets, the banshees, etc. Try to make things difficult for PP's initial approach. Their attacker repicks an Amaru for Spiff, maybe a big entry and big tower somewhere else, and Spiker going to Sledge for that second set of grenades.
All right. That's what I'm seeing here. I really want to see the Amaru get just pulled off successfully. I really, really want to see it.
Just go flying on in.
It's going to go T3, right?
Usually, yeah.
We'll ride on board here with Spiff for just a couple moments. The Spaceman himself. Again, people are like, why do you call him a Spaceman? It's a Calvin and Hobbes reference.
Time for some home improvement.
They do references, man. Fish, yet again, starting off the killing. He's taking out Forrest. The Jaeger is down for the count. There's been some criticism that you've seen on social media and some other commentators about Hat and Fish and whether they would be able to live up to the expectations of Tier 1, whether they were frankly good enough. And I think the answer so far through these 3 days has been yes, they are indeed good enough. Another kill comes in. It's on to Merc this time. Oh boy, Merc is having a really rough game.
Yeah, and Space Station on the defensive side is not as good of a look as on their attacks. They seem to struggle so much finding successful victories.
There's the ghost! There's the ghost!
Yeah, oh, I see what you mean. It's the green ghost. He's not as cute, I will say. Banshee going off, Fultz hears it, has the mirror in the position, has to aggress most likely because they gotta pull back these numbers and manpower. No.
Oh, Spiff will get a pick now. All of this action happening in places you wouldn't think most likely, all over the map, spread out. Fultz could have easily gotten a two-piece with that Nitro cell, pulls it back into his pocket as he just misses it ever so slightly. Now there it will go, and the walk away doesn't do anywhere near the damage that you would have hoped. In fact, it didn't do a single point of damage to anybody whatsoever. J9O looking to get a bit active over towards the closet. He's got the Azami, keep a barrier, keeping him away. He's about to get shot in the back from the top of Armory. There's a ring around the Rosie happening. Look at this, a 2v4. Just wasting as much time as possible. There's a drone on him as well. I don't know if J9O knows that. He gets one, now he'll have to outduel the Type 89, cannot get it done. Skies, the pick that's so desperately needed. Fultz now finds himself in a 1v2. They're in the exact same position, by the way. Just going back into trophy, bullet tracers from behind. Skies and PB have now equalized at 4 rounds apiece. Space Station looking a little bit restless on their defenses.
Yeah, and also seemingly a tagger favorite Oregon by the looks of it. Things keep happening this way. Not a common look at all. And now, you know, SSG in the same spot that Parabellum were. What bomb site do they go to? Nothing's really working for them. If you lose Spaceman that you're supposed to win, then you go Kid Storms. That goes even, you know, more wrong. Is it territory bomb site time? Do you go back to basement? Do you retry Kid's bedroom defense? Do you change your operators instead? Mixture of both. Back downstairs, stick out the mirror, get those Captain Traps from hot and cold, maybe try and get some damage done on the roam. Both teams on the defensive side, not contesting too much actively on the map. It's all about the bomb side itself, that 5v5 or 4v4 execute. But it might just be time for Space Station to put out an active roam instead. It seems to be that the strength lies when they play close together, actively on the map, not just Forest alone roaming, not 5 members hiding in corners. Being on the same page in terms of what the strategy is going to be. Fish done a great job on the entries for PB, finding so much success, but it's actually Sky with 10 kills. Quietly doing so, but very successfully at that.
Skies, I was gonna have to shame Skies after those first 2 rounds, playing a little bit more of that baiter, lurking style on defense. Didn't really look wholly connected to the rest of his team, but again, the problem with that is that you expect your team to do something, and if things go terribly awry and you're in the middle of nowhere, people then turn around and say, what are you doing? I remember having this exact same conversation when Thinking Nade used to play Thatcher and Nomad on Space Station way back in the day.
Yeah.
And Space Station would get a little cutesy, they'd all die, and then Thinking Nade would be doing his job, which is being miles away on drone, trying to drone in the rest of the team.
Yeah.
And everybody'd say, well, what's Thinking Nade doing? He's nowhere nearby. Because you're relying on your teammates doing things well.
Yeah, I mean,
they don't, and that's it. Okay, well.
Everyone's got a job to do, and you can't.
Oh, Forrest went for the jump out, could not get in time. Got the first pick on the Spiker, and given that this is a downstairs attack for Parabellum, losing that Flores is actually enormous.
Yeah, I would say, like, when you're trading out the Jaeger in this scenario for a 1-for-1 trade, it's almost always going to be worth it. Either you kill Soft Breach, Hot Breach, or Thatcher, so no matter who Forrest ends up killing, it's going to grant them a massive bonus for the round to come. We still got half of it left, 1 minute 30 seconds on the clock. And Spiff using so much self-destruction for a simple rotation for himself and his teammate. Has to be done, and there's no sledge.
He still does have one of those Ash charges in his back pocket. Ash breaching rounds, as they're officially called.
Reload.
Fish stacked up over towards blue. This is exactly where you want the Rotero drones to carve out an easy way in. And we did see some Rotero drones go in there. How many? Don't know. We didn't watch Spiker's entire perspective. But you've still opened up a little bit of an avenue in. The barbed wire that was at the door is gone now as well, which will allow Fish to walk in unimpeded, not giving away his position. Spiff's position on Freezer, given away by that default camera. Out goes the last Ash round. Open up potentially Freezer wall. Parabellum deciding that we'll go for a laundry take.
Or
instead, maybe not.
A bit of a, ring on the rosy here. Gotta figure out what the approach is going to be with the mirror. It's going to be problematic for them.
And Fultz has a nitro cell lined up, but there's going to be a nade that goes out instead, all the way to freezer hallway. Fultz has the opportunity. He sees 3 of them. There goes the nitro cell. They shoot it. Laxing his diffuser. They've traded it off, juggled it as you may. Merc, they need a big round from him. He's good enough for a kill. Traded out by Spiff. Laxing now goes down 2. SSG holding onto this mirror window. This is such a strong position to be in. It leaves Spiff as last man standing. And it's J9O to say that's quite enough. PB had worked really hard to tie things up, but SSG just simply regains the lead after all that effort.
And this is why the mirror is such a strong operator for that base and bomb site. It is so incredibly difficult to deal with as an attacking team, and unless you have a Ying or smoke grenades or a Monty or Blitz, some sort of execution style operator for all that bomb site execute, it's just hard to brute force your way through it. We saw there 3 members from PP on the bottom laundry stairs, and that single player of Fultz on the mirror window just stops them from achieving their goal of getting in the bomb site itself. That is a big problem for the attacking team. But mirror doesn't work out on the other bomb sides as well as basement, so now things have to change up for Space Station as that bomb will be locked for the next, for this round and the next one. So 2 rounds after winning. Solid and Forest off the Jaeger now. Nothing to protect people from those grenades below. It bodes well as PP is gonna attack our Reaper from Dokkaebi onto Sled to get that second set of grenades.
Haven't seen a lot of Soulless so far today in this particular matchup.
No. Oregon is complicated, all right? Because sure, there's a fair bit of self-destruction on the bomb set itself, but you can't typically play comfortably a floor below or above the bomb set necessarily, unless maybe tertiary bomb set, that meeting kitchen or kitchen dining bomb set defense.
Yeah. Curious to see what the goal is right now for Forest. Okay, Hot and Cold decides to give his life away. Playing off the keep a barrier, thinking that maybe he was a little bit more immune to bullets than he actually was.
As my friend would say,
Not the start that Space Station wanted, losing Hot and Cold.
Seems to be Space Station's biggest issue, right? Like the early aggression for, not like for no reason, but is it necessary to take all these fights? I know that wasn't a fight that was intended, but it happens so frequently.
Merc and Skies look to be exchanging words, and Skies is the one to walk away with just a single point of HP. Merc doesn't have any damage done to him whatsoever, but his position in Dining Hall revealed by the logic bomb. Spiff knows this. He'll wait for Spiker's drone to go on in. Laxing is there for backup. There's a pinch that could possibly happen here. Another logic bomb will go off to help, and that's Spiff down. Okay, they knew where Merc was. He'll look to get away. Walks right into Laxing. Forest, meanwhile, takes out Fish. It's a 3v3, keeping this one nice and close. After losing Hot and Cold early, that's huge for Space Station. Well, to the bottom of White Stairs. This is a very aggressive spot to be in.
Yeah, he knows guys so low in HP, so he can take this fight with comfortability and confidence. But it's Laxing actually swinging instead. Oh, wait, they misdroned him. Wait, did they?
I don't think they saw him.
No.
Fultz sees Laxing. That's a bad, bad thing for Parabellum to let Fultz go by undroned. On the shoulders of Spiker at this point, with Skies being on a single point of HP. Still a nitro cell in the back pocket of J9O as well. So if it goes anywhere close to the Hibana of Skies, he'll be as good as dead. And of course, doesn't need to be said, but I'll say it anyway. A single bullet from any of these guns will drop Skies.
I mean, you can touch your C4 at Skies and kill them at this point.
But Forest, as the Solus is still roaming down below. Fultz decides to peek window. Maybe it's for intel, maybe it's
no
because
way.
He gets a little bit brave, but he sees Spiker. The DMR will need to hit the toe of J9O once or twice. Limit them down to about 20 HP. Spiker actually has more HP than both Forest and J9O combined, and that DMR really hits like a truck. Problem is, Diffuser's been surrendered by security in White Hallway. And last 2 players from SSG, former teammates on that old Astralis squad. They're sitting in the same spot, waiting for Spiker to get up. Spiker used both of those logic bombs to flush out Merc earlier, so he has no way of getting this, no way of knowing, unless he just goes for the single engagement. He's picked up the case. Up the stairs he goes. Position given away by the Banshee, and he's gonna continue to run. Setting up that diffuser to go down. Forest has intel, and J9O seals the deal. Space Station moved to match point.
If you were to blur out the names of both teams in that 2 versus 1, you need to guess, you know, what the matchup is. You can actually, with a high certainty, guess who the defending team is going to be, because that is how Astralis always tends to play a 2 versus 1 when they're on defense. They will stack up in either on the bomb side if they don't have diffuser control, or if they do somewhere off the side itself, like in that previous round, they'll just say, okay, good old body system, just bring the 2 versus 1, surrender the bomb side. If he wants to go upstairs, he has to go deep on in. There's not that much time left on the clock, 20 or 30 seconds. We can work with that. Plus, they have the Solus. They can always figure out exactly when and where the enemy will be planting if they go for it. And if they go for the kills instead, they got the numbers advantage in that 2 versus 1 to almost guarantee the round, because both members being so low on health, being less than 30, just that single bullet from the DMR will take them out. They want to ensure the highest likelihood of winning by evening, or it's not evening rather, by increasing the numbers 2 to 1.
This might be the first time that Space Station ends a match without overtime. Might be.
I was gonna say it. Don't jinx it now.
Not a given this day and age.
Tertiary bomb site defense time, Parker. This is where things they get really difficult for the defending team. Okay, anything can happen.
They will have a chance to go back down to Laundry in the basement, which only broke in their favor once. Keep that in mind. Hold on.
Only once? But it was a rather convincing round when they did win it.
Oh, wait.
It's a good drone.
Forrest was just on drone, okay. They know that the bandit of Forest was isolated for a short period of time.
Default cam being left up. Oh,
Fault's missing out. They can use that default cam to give tons of information. Lansing knew that that was the particular location where Forest was. I think it's a pretty safe bet as Merc gets the very first pick on the fish. Shutting down the sledge, shutting down the soft destruction, shutting down the nades. And on this particular bomb site, kitchen and meeting, you need the sledge for that soft destruction above, for the vertical play that is not going to be at the disposal of Parabellum.
Not just that, but also Fish being the aggressive injury player for Parabellum, finding so much success so far against Space Station. They need this member alive, and he's not. When it's match point, that's when you need this guy more than ever.
So this is probably the most sledge-friendly of all the sites, so yeah, particularly damning. Parabellum still working their way through the labyrinth that's been created upstairs by those Kiva barriers. Addition to that, you've got the bandit wires that are keeping the walls electrified. Saw a heavy investment from Space Station towards the back of stage. Now that you've shut down the sledge, it's really easy to sit inside of kitchen and survive for quite a while. So meeting is probably going to be the focus for Parabellum. But hold on a moment here. Laxing has another idea. He's finished off Merc inside a bathroom.
He's walked in.
He did.
Hold the Forest.
I mean, speaking of Forest, he's going to be the front line. Inside a kitchen and now can electrify the wall. Oh, great timing. J9O taking some damage from Spiker. That's a soft wall inside a meeting, and now Forrest is spotted, but that MP7's just a thing of beauty as Spiff and Spiker both get buried. 4v2 favoring Space Station becomes a 4v1. Parabellum, try as you might, it's been a rough day, but SSG, they're not happy with that first match at all. Maybe Skies can do something about this. Maybe. Former player on Space Station. May get revenge against his old team. He was on DZ most recently. He's been all around the league. You know he can pull off heroics. You know he can pull off miracles. He'll march in through split. It's done by the El Gujmat, so that's information.
15 seconds to go.
He's got diffuser in hand, but this is going to be a mission to kill.
10 seconds
Watched
left.
by that bulletproof camera. He's in a tough spot, and he knows this.
Oh, the GGs.
They're calling the GGs already. Fultz with the one tap, sends it away. Well, that one's in the books. What an unpredictable and wild matchup between these teams. But it's Space Station who walks away with the victory.
I want to see if we can do any illustration from this, because there are like 7 different incredibly chaotic rounds you can talk about. By the way, confusing one at that. Curious to see what the cast or the analysts rather have to say about that one.
Yeah, I mean, Space Station finally get their victory outside of regulation, which they needed, and it comes at a perfect time. We've seen North America be so competitive, and with SSG picking up the